you something you've never heard that will blow your mind. Ah, once upon a time I told you stories from Africa. Fun enough to make you laugh. Bright enough to light your day. Super lessons you learn from it, and it makes you go. Thank you, Nosa, for joining me for a cup of chocolate today.
And a story.
Oh, yes, and a story. Hello, children. Welcome to Grandma Wira's Story Hut, where my stories give you wings and fly you on an African adventure. Did you know that Africa is rich in cocoa for our favorite chocolate? Oh yes, our favorite chocolate. Which brings us to today's story, titled The Cocoa Boy. A long, long time ago, in a little village located in Côte d'Ivoire, lived a young boy called Kofi. In Kofi's village, they were very, very rich and known for producing lots of cocoa. Now, Kofi loved to help everyone. He had a heart of gold. He liked to do stuff for people, and because of that, a lot of people in the village really were fond of him. They were also fond of him because Kofi was very good at making very cold chocolate drinks to refresh everyone everywhere he went. Also, there was a man called Mr. Yaya who would come every month to the village. He would come to take a boy or two boys to the city, where he had promised that he would give them an education and make life better for them. And so it was the beginning of another month, and Kofi had hoped that Mr. Yaya would choose him. So he decided that when Mr. Yaya would come, first week of that month, he would have prepared a cold guard of chocolate drink. That he did. And when he did that, instantly, Mr. Kofi took notice of him. Oh, Mr. Kofi was so delighted. It was a taste of delight.
Wow.
Yes, and he instantly decided, you, my boy, are going to the city with me today. Oh, everybody was excited for Kofi.
I'm very sure Kofi was very excited to himself.
Oh yes, he was very excited as well. And so off they went to the city. And the next thing, when they got to the city, this huge gate opened to them. It was a big mansion. Oh, my goodness. Kofi's heart was pounding, racing very, very fast. And you know, he saw the beautiful trees. He saw everything around. He was excited. They alighted from the car, entered into the mansion, and they kept going. The next thing, they went behind the mansion. What? It was a huge plantation of cocoa. Strangely, there were other boys walking on that plantation. When Kofi looked at each and every one of them, they all looked very familiar. They were children, boys from the village that Mr. Yaya had promised to bring to the city and make their lives better. At that point, while he was still staring, trying to make sense of everything that was going on, his luggage was thrust from him and thrown aside. Then he was ordered, get to work. He looked at Mr. Yaya. His face, his countenance had changed from that amazing, loving man that would come to the village and promise everything in the world. he realized that Mr. Yaya had been deceiving everyone in his village. While they were there, he worked very hard along with the other boys. And he noticed that they were very malnourished. They were not being given enough food. So he took it upon himself sometimes to take the cacao from the pods and create, his usual chocolate drink, the one he would serve. And, he was doing that.
Just
to...
Yes. What is cacao?
Cacao, before... Cacao is where is what the chocolate is made from. When it's still in the pod, it's cacao. Okay? All right. And so he would use that to make the chocolate drink. And they started getting better. Everyone was excited. He was just an amazing person. And not too long, he began to tell all the boys how they could escape from the plantation and run away from this suffering. But they were all too scared to run away because they were so afraid of Mr. Yaya. So, Kofi decided within himself that one day he would run away. Then came the day that he did so. That night, while everyone was sleeping, Kofi took to his heels. He ran and ran as fast as he could. He did not look back. He did not stop at any point. He ran out of the plantation, even kept running even after he got outside the plantation, until he got in front of a particular house and passed out. The next thing, he opened his eyes to find that he was in a home. He had been rescued the night he fainted by a certain man called Monsieur Conan. Kofi did not speak French, but Monsieur Conan spoke his native dialect. And so he was able to communicate with Mr. Conan about what had happened, how he had gotten to the city and been deceived by Mr. Yaya. He told him about the other boys that were captured and were on the mansion. Immediately, guess what happened?
What happened?
Immediately, Mr. Conan told the police about it. He reported the case to the police and they were able to locate the mansion. Mr. Yaya was arrested immediately. It was later found out that that plantation where the boys had been working belonged to a very rich company that was rich in producing cocoa and chocolates and all sorts of things from cocoa. Now, guess what happened?
What happened?
Monsieur Conan was so generous enough to make his home the home of those young boys that were freed from the plantation. He also sent each and every one of them to school where they all got formal education and became very successful in life. As for Kofi, he turned out to also own a cocoa factory. He now decided when he was old enough to go back to his village to replicate that same factory in his village so that he could send more little boys to school and also give more work and jobs to the people of his village. The end. I hope you enjoyed my story and I hope you learned a thing or two from that story. But not to worry, there will be one more story for another day. Until we come your way again on the Grand Mawura's Story Heart, this is Grand Mawura and Nosa saying bye-bye. Now, Nosa, what did you learn from the story?
I learned that it's not good to deceive other children. And I learned that it's always good to accept people even though they are in the village. And also it's also good to be kind to others.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I believe you will do same like Kofi did.
Yes.
Today, on the Grandma Wura's Story Hut, we learned that we should always be kind to whoever we meet and help people who seem to be in a bad situation. We also learned that no matter how successful evildoers may be today, one day they get caught and will eventually pay for their wrongdoings. Like Kofi, we must always be courageous and do all that is within our power to get help in whatever situation we find ourselves, even when we feel scared. Discuss more of the other lessons you learned today with your parents or guardians. You can reach me at Grandma Wura on Facebook and Instagram with the supervision of an adult. Also visit www.proudafricanroots.com to get your own copy of the Grandma Wura Story Hut ebook.
Tell you something you've never heard that will blow your mind. Once upon a time, I told you stories from Africa. Fun enough to make you laugh. Bright enough to light your day. Super lessons you learn from it, and it makes you go.